Seen approximately 1,000,001 videos about this Snail Mucin. It's everyone talking about how amazing it is, and no one's doing like a real-time how their skin changes video. Mine just came, so welcome to day 1 of me trying Snail Mucin. I'm gonna do maybe a week, maybe a month, and we'll see where we end up. Firstly, let's take off the retouch filter. This is my skin, a little red because I washed it too hard. And as you can see, we've been in breakout mode. I haven't pumped it into the straw yet. I have heard all the girlies say that you need to pat it in. You need to pat and not rub. I don't know why. No one will tell me why you're supposed to pat actives and not rub. I've just seen 100 videos saying, don't do it. And not one person has given me an answer on why. Okay, 15 seconds into day 1, and so far, not noticing an immediate difference. It's just like any other moisturizer. I thought it would be like something miracle happening, but we'll find out. Watch every day and see how it goes. I will do it morning and night. You're supposed to put it on twice daily, and then we'll see what the results are. And together, better be worth it. If you want to join me in my little challenge and we'll watch the progress, then you can also get one in my shop. I get commission. It's not like an ad. I want to show you like what it actually does. We're going to find out. Today's story is actually going to be a question. Day 2 of me trying the Snail Mucin and tracking my progress. Here's me without any kind of beauty filter so you can see what my skin currently looks like. Do we do 1 pumps or 2? I feel like 2 is a lot. It's actually going to be a question because I don't know what to talk about yet. Leave your suggestions in the comments and we'll do that for day 3. My question is this. For the twins of the world, anyone who has an identical twin, remember to pat in your actives for some reason. What if your twin were to do spicy content, accounting content? You know, I was just thinking about this. I don't know where it came from, but is that person at all allowed to sue you for like defamation? After all, if your bodies look exactly the same, they're kind of showing your body without consent. Can you be like, I don't want this out there, take it down, and if they don't sue them in a court of law, does that mean you are legally like allowed half of their earnings? How exactly do twins who are identical, one is modest, the other one is like, I'm gonna make my bank, sis or man. How do they decide? Has this happened before? Anyone out there with actual twins who work in the industry that can answer it for me? Okay, come back for day 3 and we'll see how the progress is going. It's right here in the TikTok shop, just experimenting. Everyone keeps talking about it, so let's figure out if it's worth it after 30 days. I tried keeping this under a minute. I tried. If you're gay or an ally, don't scroll. At least like this and then comment like a heart or like I love you, something supportive before you leave. I need your help to get on the right FYP and then it can go to more loving accounts, get me off the troll page. I posted a video about Lori Carlton and the response I got was unhinged. On a video talking about her murder, Christian people thought it would be appropriate to come in and start bullying and harassing. By the way, I'm using the Snail Mucin. I'm doing an actual 30-day thing so you can see what my skin looks like before and after. Crap, I forgot to turn off the filter. This is what my skin looks like on day 3. Things people are saying was so atrocious that I just turned off my comments so that I have to manually approve every single one. I expect this kind of lash out when I'm doing anything about religion or even, like, I don't know, politics. But the fact that I'm talking about somebody who lost their life for flying a flag is disturbing. The pure amount of these comments in like an hour that came flooding in, that was before I turned on the filter. Those were inappropriate comments that TikTok filtered. Because the basic ones, like these copy and paste bulls, they just come through anyway. Thank you to Queer Talk and everyone who's an ally that's interacting with this post, and to the people that are leaving awful messages on a video about somebody who got murdered. I have one thing to say to you. Be ashamed. Not edgy or not hip. I don't care if maybe you're a child and you think this is a fun thing to do, but you should be deeply embarrassed just because you are advocating for violence and you're continuing to spread it. That's not okay. I don't know who raised you. In fact, I dare you, go to your parents and ask, there's this creator who's gay and I don't like him because he looks like Jesus and I feel like I'm protecting the religion by commenting this thing. Is that good or am I actually being harmful? Most parents will agree that that is not the time and place when discussing the loss of someone's life. Last tip. The reason why I'm upset is because no one here is thinking first. And as somebody in my 30s, I can tell you right now that the things that you're going to feel most painfully as you get older, you're going to learn how to love others and you're going to start thinking logically. You don't want to look back on these years and go, what did I say? These moments of regret and deep embarrassment turn into shame, and that stays with you like an imprint on your brain. Think about what you're doing in this moment before you press send. Is it worth the validation from your peers, or in 15 years, are you going to feel a sense of regret? What if somebody kills because of what I said? You are going to feel ashamed. So get a head on it now and feel embarrassed for what you're doing in this moment so you can stop. A woman lost her life and you're out here acting like nobody raised you. Do you know that viral YouTube video where the guy shaves his butt with Nair and shows you full on Kevin something? I'll say this is a cautionary tale. I will not be doing that on TikTok, but I do have a story. Nair related, but not butthole related. Please interact with this video if you are queer. I am still under mass attack and I need all the love and support I can get. We'll get to the story, but first we're gonna plug this is day 4 of using the CosRx Snail Mucin. I don't know if there's really been an improvement yet. You tell me. We're doing this for 30 days and I'll show you the progress because everyone's talking about how cool it is, but they're not showing you what it does. So I will be showing you, but here's what happened. I was somewhere in those high school years where I was convinced that I was gonna end up shirtless and a guy would see me. I don't know if you can tell, but I have a lot of hair. In 2006, 2007, the whole entire look, especially for gay guys, was to be as hairless as possible. It's kind of gone out of style. We can have hair now. Being a young twink, if you will, I was so scared that people were gonna judge me for having as much body hair as I did at such a young age. So I decided to go get Nair. I did try shaving my entire chest multiple times and I could not stand the ingrown hairs. Someone out there with curly hair knows how painful it is when it's growing back if you do close shave because the curl starts curling before it even pops out of the follicle. Got Nair and I rubbed it all over my chest like this and waited for the 3 minutes or whatever. This is where the fun started because it was not much longer before it started burning. Specifically, it was my nipples and I was like, ah, what am I gonna do? So I jumped in the shower, got like a pinch. We're talking sting, like I've never had something sting, and hot. I remember it being hot. The scraper with me and I was just getting off all of it as I could. And then I was even burning harder. The water made it worse and it started bleeding. Yes, there was blood coming out of my nipples. Did I cry? Maybe a little bit. After I got out of the shower, I pressed some tissue papers to them and I dug out the Nair box from the trash can. It was at that point that I decided to read the warning. There in tiny print, it said not to use on your areola, genitals, or any other booty hole type skin. Because apparently it's specifically formulated to not work on that specific type of skin, which is different than the rest of your skin. Yeah. Always read instructions before you put weird stuff on your body. The pain didn't end there, no, because it was autumn in tiny JeGaysus. Oh, it was almost my birthday. I remember now, so I would have been like 16. Anyway, it was autumn and I was outside a lot because I still had to take the bus to get to work and or to get to school when I was going to college. 17. Every time the wind would gust or I was shivering outside of the bus stop, my nipples would get, you know, pointy. They would tighten and the skin that was scabbed would crack and I would start bleeding again. It would go through my shirt. It took about a month to heal. Even since then, I've never had the same size nipples again. See, they're very small and they only get smaller when, you know, and I also don't really have any sensation. I'm not into touching or anything like that because it doesn't feel like anything to me. Sometimes it may be a little painful, but it doesn't feel good. I don't know if they've changed the formula or what's going on with Kevin, and we're not even gonna talk about how you're allowed to apparently show your butthole on YouTube. When that thing was going viral, I was traumatized because I can just picture all the people who are getting the wrong kind of Nair or just not reading the instructions and they're doing what Kevin did by putting it on that sensitive area. I was scared that they're gonna bleed out, you know? So this is a story that just reminds you to please check warning labels on everything. If you're gonna put hair on your butthole, just really make sure that you test it somewhere else first because you do not want what's happened to my nipples to happen to your booty. Also, if you would like my shirt, you can always get it at JeGaysus.com. Bye. Yeah, since trolls are here, I decided to really lean into that harder. I would argue that Jesus is in the queer umbrella community. We don't even have to rehash the whole Jesus was trans debate to talk about it. Yes, I know I use Mapper a lot, but that's because I commented and said, hey, this isn't how we debate. And they backed off and said, no, I actually want to have a conversation. Everyone listen up because that is how you do it. You don't have to be on the same side. Just have a discussion. So why do I say Jesus was in the queer community? Well, first, let's start with this. We are on day 5 of doing the Snail Mucin, and I'm gonna see how my skin turns out. It's a little red because I was washing it. I think it's looking better though. The video that you commented on, it was about Jesus being asexual. Being asexual, like myself, is inherently part of the queer community. Commented it right there, LGBTQIA. Jesus is in the Bible as not having a wife or any kind of partner. I think that's where you and so many people get this conversation confused. You say, you are straight. Nothing about asexuality has to do with your orientation. It's not about who you're attracted to, it's about what you're attracted to and if you're attracted. Please note that asexual people come in many different forms and not all of them have zero sexual attractions. According to the Bible itself, Jesus says that lust is adultery of the heart. Same lines of you should gouge out your eyes if you're staring at women. And Paul later goes on to say that it's best to be celibate. He brags about how he doesn't have any attraction. Using these two references, it would infer that Jesus, since he was never married, also was not sexually attracted to other people because that would be lust, that would be a sin. Jesus doesn't claim himself to be sinless, but the Christian tradition and doctrines do say Jesus is sinless. I think it's pretty obvious. If Jesus is asserted as sinless, and Jesus says lust is a sin, lusting, having sexual attractions for somebody, then you are sinful, well, Jesus would have to be asexual. Taking that a step further, Jesus was most likely asexual and aromantic because he didn't have romantic partnerships either. It was very, very odd not to be married back in that day, especially when everyone was looked to as a point of authority and had to have a partnership. Jesus was weird and against the norm, even if he wasn't ace. Therefore, Jesus was queer. I'm gonna try to make this story time as quick as humanly possible because my other ones have been going so long. In light of Mitch McConnell freezing, which if you haven't seen, I did a video before this, I wanted to talk about why I think these are like pseudo seizures. I'm not a medical expert, but I have gone through these kinds of things in the past. During the story time, we're gonna be using the Snail Mucin on my skin by CosRx. This is what my skin looks like 6 days after. I should say, because I wanted to do this as an actual experiment, I've only been using face wash and this. I haven't been using any of the other serums or products I should be using. Also, I'm linking to a cheaper one. This isn't the one I bought, but both are in my shop. And it has to be from Gangnam, South Korea to be real. Watch out for that. In my life, I've had probably 4 to 5 different seizure events. But mine don't look like what you think. They don't shake, however, it does feel like my body vibrates. When it begins, I actually get a dot of light in my vision. It vibrates with different colors, and it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I always say it looks kind of like a dead pixel on the screen. Gotta pat, not rub. I don't know why. No one's commented still. And the fact that I have a visual warning, I usually have about 5 minutes to know that something's going on. So I can sit on the floor, or if I'm out in public, I can tell other people I'm about to have a seizure, call 911. But this is where the fun part starts. I don't know what it looks like. Apparently though, I don't shake, I do lose consciousness. Like what we see in the Mitch McConnell version, it's like that. Quick blackout and I'm still there. Ears are skin too. But I'm not there. Oh, that's magic. Just kidding, I turned on the beauty filter. The first time this happened to me, I was 16 and had strep, but that's its own story. First time I was conscious of this being a problem, I was actually an adult, like 23. Walking, and I was on my way back from a 7-Eleven where I purchased a sandwich. And I thought I was just dizzy because I was like, ooh, I must be sugar low in sugar. And start scripting these. But anyway, I was on the phone with my dad's fiance because I was just scared I needed someone to be with me. And I passed out like on the curb in the gutter. I came to an hour and a half later, 1.5 miles away. This was in LA, so I was actually on the curb at a stoplight when all of a sudden I was aware, and I was like, where am I? I didn't have my phone, it was in the gutter. Thankfully, I was making my way back just on cross streets, but the thing I wanted to point out here is I was still conscious while I was blacked out. I lose all reference of time and disassociate, but I was still able to walk across the street in LA traffic and apparently adhere to traffic signs because I didn't get run over. I walked back to the studio where I was filming and somebody turned in my phone and said they saw me wandering in the streets. I thought I was just tired, so I went through and had the rest of my day on set. Then it happened again 2 years later when I was at a liquor store and I told the guy like, oh my god, this happened last time, call 911, I'm gonna sit on the floor. That time I did end up in the hospital for a few days and they tried to test me but they couldn't see anything and I wasn't epileptic because I didn't shake and they couldn't get any lights to trigger me. Since then I've learned this stuff called pseudo seizures and vacant seizures. It used to happen to me almost every 2 years like clockwork. And that's one of the reasons why I don't drive. But I haven't had one in almost 4 years now. I just see the same vacant look that goes on Mitch McConnell's face. I don't know if that's what I look like, but that's definitely what it feels like. Even though it may take me about 2 hours to come to and actually be conscious of where I am again, for days. Your brain is screwed after that. Everything's a fog. And I just want to say, if I'm not allowed to drive, then I don't think Mitch McConnell should be allowed to run the country. Also, pick up this. We're going to be using the moisturizer soon. It's supposed to get here today, but I wanted to go full week before we even start that so you can see the actual progress. The strep throat thing, when it started, my brain has never been the same since then. I have panic attacks, anxiety, a whole bunch of disorders. I've heard that if you have a virus like meningitis, strep throat, something that makes your fever go really high, it can affect your brain and shut down certain parts of your cortex. I wonder if that's why I started having these seizures. That was not fast enough. My God, I don't know how to make content anymore. It's day 7 of being a snail influencer. Snail-fluencer? Ignore the hair. I was doing a different video. I could just not resist doing a video while I was like this. Real note, this is my skin on day 7 of using the Snail Mucin. I don't really see guys doing this very much, but it's what it looks like on a guy. And these blemishes weren't here yesterday. That's my fault. I was picking up my skin last night. That's what I look like on day 1 before applying it. And this is what I look like today. Ooh. It's taken away a lot of my redness, for real, and I haven't been doing my full skin routine. If you've been following along, you know I've only been washing my face and doing the Snail Mucin. And I haven't been doing it day or night. Pretty fair results on day 7. I haven't used it today. We're gonna switch up and start adding in the moisturizer, and I also got this viral skin product. We're gonna add all of them together, but I wanted to show after 1 week, once a day, no whole routine, what it does to your skin. Check it out. Buy it from me instead of all the girls. And don't pick your skin, because then it ruins the experiment. Yes, first Snail Mucin video under a minute, I think. If you want to watch the other story times, it's in the playlist.